Brian Baker, Bradley Baker here with Hunt Fish Camp. Make sure you subscribe. That'll help us out. Bradley's got his doe fawn here. You want to turn her so we can see her a little better, but we are going to process this. So she weighs a whopping 52 pounds. It is not worth taking it to a processor, sorry processors, to pay 110, 120 bucks, whatever it is, to cut it up. So if you've never cut up a deer, it's not all that hard. We are not experts by any means, but we'll show you a time lapse of what's going on, and then I may just talk over that to kind of let you know what we're doing and what we do sometimes. And we may stop and show you some things too, but essentially we're gonna go head first down, so we aren't flipping her over to go by legs like a lot of people would. We'll start with the neck. We'll skin her. We'll save the skin. We'll turn that in and get a free pair of gloves for Bradley since it's his deer, and then we'll go to work. Take off the back straps. Take off the front shoulders, back shoulders. We gotta take tenderloins out still, so there's not gonna be much there, but we'll get that out. A lot of this will go into ground meat, but of course we'll save some of the better stuff for some roasts and steaks and things like that. So hopefully this helps you out or gives you a little confidence to go do it yourself. Cool. Ready?
Yep.
Before we get started though, we better just show you how we set this up. So here's what we've got. We've got the deer hanging from a deck beam there. So we'll skin her there. I back my truck up here, so on the end gate, I just put a piece of plywood, freezer paper. We've got Bradley's knife set. Ice cream buckets is actually gonna be for our scrap meat. I'm not gonna grind my own meat. I'm gonna take it somewhere to be ground. It's just not worth the effort, and they can grind it so much easier than I can. Down here, this is a bucket for the junk scraps. So that's stuff that we're gonna be taking out into the field and dumping. So we'll put bones, anything that we don't want into there. And then we've got a table here with our freezer paper on it. This will be the wrapping area. So we'll take piles of steaks and chops and whatever, set that there, roasts, and then that's where that'll get wrapped and taped and labeled. The tape and labels are over in a little cooler over there. That's pretty much it, right?
Yep.
How long do you think it's going to take?
2 hours of effort.
You think it'll take 2 hours?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll time it. We'll see. We'll let you know exactly how long it takes us. Exactly how long. Okay? Timer starts right now. Step one is to skin the deer. This is where having a knife that has a gut hook is really, really nice. I slice around the neck and then I use the gut hook to slice down to where my previous cut was. Also slice out both of the front legs. And then it's just a matter of peeling and cutting the spots that are sticking. Also, if you are skinning or doing this with a buck, just like from the title page of this video, the glands on their hocks, so down by their knees on their lower legs, don't cut all the way down to that. You really don't want to get those smells on your knife. It can taint your meat. We've got skin off. We do not want any of this excess hair in our meat. So you run with a torch and burn it off. Oh, nice. Messy part. We're not gonna get any of this shoulder. Look at that. It's crazy the amount of damage you did there.
Yeah.
That's insane.
That
is why you use fixed blade broadheads, because that damage was caused after she was running. The skin off, I start with the neck. If you got a nice buck, you'll actually get a lot of meat off of here. It's really good meat that a lot of processors don't even bother with, and so I cut those into roasts. So usually a couple of pounds chunks that I cook into the crock pot and take care of that. Then the back straps that I'm taking off there, so you just follow the vertebrae down and find where that seam is, and they sort of peel and cut off. I cut those into little mini steaks or butterfly chops. And then that front quarter. So the front quarter actually comes off really, really easy. You just look for the seams of the meat, some little small cuts, and that whole quarter will come right off. Most of that meat I end up putting into ground meat. I do sometimes cut a few steaks out of there if I've got a decent chunk. All right, a couple things. So this shoulder might try and pick a couple things off there, but for the most part, that's pretty trashed. Not a lot of meat on it. And we did find, and Bradley found his broadhead stuck in there in that shoulder. Really careful with it though. Here we go. It's nasty because the deer was quartering away, and And so it went through stomach and then up into that shoulder blade. So stomach and liver and lung and kind of got a little bit of everything. So we got it back. That's cool. Finally, we were on to the hind quarter. I actually don't take the whole leg off. I debone it while it's hanging so I don't have to deal with the extra hair or grabbing onto the hocks for the bucks. And the smell that comes along with that. So from inside of the leg, I find that femur bone and basically just keep working my way around and keep cutting. Eventually that whole giant piece will come off. And then you just try and cut it off by muscle groups. So you find the nice easy seams, take it apart into different chunks, and then you can either cut roasts or steaks out of all those big pieces. Here we have it. Okay. Most meat off, we'll pick a little bit off this back end that we'll still use. That's what we've got out of it. A little bit of other meat, other places, but now we cut it up, package it up. So being a small fawn, tenderloins, really tiny, the back straps are pretty tiny, so most of this we're actually just going to turn into little roasts or stew meat, that type of stuff. So we're almost done. We're getting there.
Should we ask Grandpa?
It cold yet?
Oh yeah, I'm freezing.
It's like 35 degrees. Our hands are cold. It's actually probably closer to 40, but the meat's cold because it was out all night. It was snowing yesterday, so. As I just mentioned, now it is time to cut and package. So I've got my pieces. With a bigger deer, I would actually be cutting and packaging as we go. With this small deer, I was able to just put it all out and then work my way through it. No need to be fancy with a lot of this, so cut what you want. So if you want to cook chunks of meat, have chunks for roast, that kind of thing. You can cut slices for jerky, chops and steaks. And then I usually keep a bucket, an ice cream bucket, that I use for scrap meat that I'll grind later or I'll take to be ground. As that fills up, then I dump that into gallon Ziploc bags and just keep refilling it up. The bucket works out pretty nice. Here's where having a second person is also really helpful because I can be cutting the pieces and then Bradley's there getting things wrapped and labeled for us. These are what you get when you got a 50-pound fawn for tenderloins. It's really funny. They're so cute and little. And there you have it. Now it's time just to clean everything up, get things put away, and dispose of the carcass. And there you have it. Hopefully the time-lapse was working. We've got, as Bradley describes,
a cute little pile of meat.
Our cute little pile of meat. We've got a 1 gallon of scraps too to get ground. But it started at 1:39. It is 2:37. So it took us 58 minutes. And we got a carcass laying in the back of the truck. We gotta run that out into the valley, dumping that out where the coyotes can get to it within view. Hopefully it helps you out. It really, normally we'd cut more roasts and steaks and things like that. This was butchering at its finest, as I'm just trying to get the meat off, and we got a few chunks and a few different things, but not being careful about it. We need to get another deer to feed ourselves for the year. At least one more. We might need 2 more if we keep shooting them this size, but that's all right.
Beating them up this much.
And beating them up. Yeah, we lost most of our front shoulder, so it's all right. Okay, till next time. Get out there, catch some fish. Usually what I say, but I guess in this case, get out and get yourself some venison. Take 2. Woo. What'd you call our pile of meat?
It's cute.
Our cute pile of meat.
Dad, you started on fire.
Whoops.